Welcome to the Distributed Wiki. A distributed wiki is a tree of wiki pages. You can edit both the content and the look and feel with the web browser. Because it's a tree, you can publish any branch as JSON, and so a forest of distributed wikis can share content and evolve the content very rapidly. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Here we are at the home page. The first thing in order to do anything is you need to register. But in order to save some time, I've already filled out this form. And we can submit. And now we're logged in. We get a whole bunch more options. Let's start off by exploring the tree. So here it's a tree. Here's the root page. We can explore the child pages. Here's a documentation. And okay, so you can see in the upper left where we are in the tree. Distributed wiki, documentation, web development, content types. And we can add, actually let me add it to a different, let me add it, I'll add it here. We can add a page, new page, and we have some lorem ipsum, add and view. And so you can, again, you can see where we are, a distributed wiki, document, how to add content, new page, we can edit it. So let's go back up to our root page. Sorry, before we get to editing, there's some other things we may want to add. You may want to add a map. So here is Europe. And we'll skip the description. I'll again give it some lorem ipsum just so it looks good. It's already got a location, a default. And we can add and view. What went wrong? Oh, it needs a description. We can add and view. And there we have our map of Europe. And now we can add a location to it. We can add a location to it. We'll call this London. And again, give it some lorem ipsum, add and view. So here you can have about a particular place in London, but if you click up one, sorry, that's about London, the location, but if you click up one, you can actually see the location on the map and you can click into it. Back up to Europe. And of course you can actually add, it's a tree of maps, so you can add multiple maps. So here's a more sophisticated example I've done earlier. This is Python companies in both England and Poland. And you can actually click into, let's click into Warsaw, because that's a pretty big place. And you can see all of the companies in Warsaw. So basic principle in human factors is no more than 7 items in a category. Probably on a map you can do 50. Some people have thousands. I don't like that at all. It's much better to do these kinds of two-level maps. Okay, so that's adding content. Now we're going to get to editing content. So go back up to the root. We're going to take a look at the view. And so you don't want this on your web page. What you want is you want to edit the content. So CK Editor. CK Editor is this very powerful WYSIWYG editor. So give it some more. Sorry, what did I, oh, sorry, that's the ACE editor. What I want is the CRUD. I want the CK editor. CK edit. There we go. So here is, give it some lorem ipsum, and we want to call this our new page. And this editor it does all kinds of things. For example, you can add different headings. You can add a link. This adding the link is so nice because we do it in content so often. If you're a blog editor, you can add a link. And the other important thing you can do is you can ask people to contact you. So when you ask people to contact you, it's rather difficult because in the email, you have to, let's see, me@me.com, contact me. Please tell me what you want. So you always want to add like a sentence to the email. And here what happens is it actually does that. So we can actually go take a look at it because you have to URL encode the stuff correctly. And so here we can go to the more technical ACE editor and we can see it's all properly URL encoded. And if we save and view that, then when we click on it, even if we don't understand the Latin, it creates the email. Okay, so that's editing. But of course, this is you don't want Latin on your home page. So let's go back and restore the distributed wiki. And now when we go and view it, we see the restored version. So that's the history where you can see the different versions and you can restore it. So that's really powerful when you're editing text because you always have to go back and get a previous version. Okay, so we've shown it's a tree, we've created wiki pages, we've created maps. The next thing people want to do is they want to edit the look and feel. So let's go back into documentation, and here we have the web development content type. So we're going to look at it not in the user view, but we're going to go into the developer view. So here you see where you are in the tree. We're looking really at the objects here rather than at the page displays. So the objects just have some information, the page displays are defined elsewhere. And here you can see the different content types. So you can add various content types. You can add a page, you can add a container, that's basically a folder, HTML. Ace HTML is just the very technical editor, and so sometimes when you do complex things, the CK editor will lunge the Ace HTML. So there's some objects that do both Ace and CK, and some that just do Ace. You can do a secure HTML. Say you want to look at your users, but you don't want the whole world to see that information. So in secure HTML, we'll do that. There's a CSS object, an Ace object, and there's a whole bunch of JavaScript objects we'll get into in a moment. So let's take a look at them. Here we have a CK HTML. You've seen this guy already. No big deal. Go back up. Here we have the Ace HTML. And you can see, for example, here's a tal repeat. So this is how I do the breadcrumbs. Very, very easy to do. We can see the image. Very important to add images to your websites. Yeah, very easy to upload an image. CSS. And you can see all of these are, by the way, syntax checking editors. So as soon as I make a syntax error, it gives me an alarm. What I really needed to do is to give me an alarm when there's a bad graphical design, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. And then we have JavaScript folders. So here's a JavaScript folder, and there are various types of JavaScript objects we can have. So let's take a look at CoffeeScript. I really love CoffeeScript. Look, here's one line of CoffeeScript, just something that's pretty easy to do in Python. And look how much JavaScript you have to write to do that. So rather than writing all that, just use your JavaScript. Okay, what else do we have here? We have CoffeeScript. We have JavaScript. Again, syntax checking. If you make a mistake, it says, eh, and also gives you these very nice warnings. So for example, I left this in here intentionally. You're not supposed to do equal, equal. That's what I always used to do. You're supposed to do equal, 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 and then it goes away. I think that's what the warning was. Anyhow, not sure why that didn't go away. Okay, and then finally we have Pug. Now Pug is really interesting. It used to be called Jade. It's much like Python. To define HTML, you use indentation to define the structure. So here we have a very simple Pug statement. HTML, head, title, body, H1. You can see it all there. Oops. And you can see the HTML that it generates, pretty obvious. You can see the page being displayed. And over here you can see the JavaScript. So there are multiple versions of Pug. I use the one that runs in the browser. You also have some written in Python on the server. And the one out of the node.js world, which runs in the browser, it generates JavaScript, and from that JavaScript, it generates that HTML. Now that HTML that it generates is valid chameleon page template, so you can use it on the server. Great. Or the JavaScript is, well, it's JavaScript, so you can also render your pages and populate with values on the client. So this pug.js, it works on the server, it works on the client, whatever you need. It's just really lovely. It's so much faster than doing. You'll see in a moment why it's so much faster. Okay, so that's the JavaScript folder, and it's not just a folder, it's a hierarchy of folders. So I've often go to open source websites and I see these massive pages of JavaScript, way too long. What I do is every JavaScript function is a separate object. I store them in a tree, and then when I publish them, they just get minified correctly. So here we can see down in the tree, JavaScript folder, another JavaScript folder, a hierarchy of folders. Okay, so here it's all flattened out onto a single page. If we view it, we see the minified version. We see this nice search version. We can click into it, or here, for example, you're actually clicking into just the folder, the child folder. Okay, back up. Okay, so that's all very powerful. But what that does is that allows us to define the look and feel of the entire website. So let's go back here onto products, the different types of products, but the important one is Wiki page. And here on the Wiki page, this is where we define the layout of the page. So we have index. This is the one that's called initially. Mostly it's just the header stuff, and it's a chameleon page template. So we include the body here. And the body, here's the body. The body is quite a rich page template. It's so rich that what I do is I have an option at the bottom to split this side by side or a single chunk per page. It's so rich. It's just so much easier doing this because you can really see what's going on. It's so much easier doing this than trying to use just basic chameleon page templates. It's a real speed improvement. And then we have a logo. You've seen the image already. Body, breadcrumbs. I think we've seen an example of that already. Index, navbar. Navbar, another one of these very complicated things. It's just so easy to do in Pug. We don't really need the Pug demo. Styles, and I could edit some styles here and then change the color of the home page, but no point doing that. And then we have different web classes. So there's a home page, there's a wiki page, there's a map, there's a location, and then here you can use this in either of those web classes to give custom content for just that particular page. So this is all, you can edit the look and feel, make it look however you want. This is just a simple look and feel to get you started. Okay, oh, I know. There's one more thing here. So this Pug, let's say style seat, Pug demo. I don't really want this Pug demo, so I can delete it. Okay, but now, oh, maybe I did want it. So the problem is I can't look at history because it's gone. But what I can do is I can look at transactions. And you can see here's the transaction that deleted the Pug demo. You can restore it. And then when I go back, we have to reload it. The Pug demo's there. But actually, I did want to get rid of it. So let's get rid of it permanently. Okay, so let's see, any other options here? Index people. Oh, you can also go to people. And so currently there's just one user, myself. And so when a person signs up, you can give them different permissions. When you first sign up, you'll get all the permissions. Okay, thank you so much for coming to take a look at this. This is the second of 3 videos. This describes the basic product. The first one will show how easy it is to install it. Even if you don't know Docker, Sloppy.io, they have a really easy user interface, a couple clicks you've done, and they do all the hard work for you. So they give you a Let's Encrypt certificate so that you do HTTPS, and they also do backups so you can store different versions, and every time you do a software upgrade, it automatically keeps the previous version. So if you do a software upgrade and you find you don't like it, you can revert. So they just make life really easy. It's kind of like it's my vision of Docker. Make it simple, sort of web applications. And then the third video is going to be on distributed systems. So this is a tree of wiki pages, maps, locations, other content types. Any branch of the tree can be JSON, and so you can you can move a branch of the tree from one distributed wiki to another. You can share it. And so it's really easy for large numbers of these distributed wikis to cooperate to create content. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. If you go to pythonlinks.info, you can actually click on this, and should be under more, you should see my contact information. There you go. Have a wonderful day.